Your life has purpose. How do you determine what that is? Today, I'm going to show you. Hey, I'm Stephanie Rhea. I have an MBA, and I'm going to teach you what I learned in business school about how to write a mission statement so that you can apply it to your life. To define your mission statement, let's look at what you've been through. Have you been through anything difficult in your life? God is going to use it for good. Let's look at the story of Joseph at the end of Genesis. Now, Joe was his father's favorite son, and his brothers hated him for it. The NIV says they could not speak a kind word to him. His brothers hated him so much that they plotted to kill his life. But one of his brothers said, "Dudes, he's our brother. We can't kill him. But look, there's a caravan of gypsies. Let's sell him." So that's what they did. And the gypsies in turn sold Joe as a slave to an Egyptian official. Now the Lord was with Joe and gave him success in everything he did. So 20 years after he was sold into slavery, Joe became the leader of the land and Pharaoh's right-hand man. At that time, there was a famine in the land, and everybody in the whole world came to Joe for food, including his brothers. Now his brothers were afraid that Joe would try to get back at them. But what did Joseph say in Genesis 50, verse 20? "You planned evil against me, but God planned it for good, the saving of many lives." God is going to do the same thing in your life. More on that later. Who do you want to affect? This is the first element of your statement of purpose. Who will benefit from you accomplishing your mission? Whose lives will you impact by reigning in your sphere of influence? In business, we would call this your target audience or your customers. Those who will receive knowledge, wisdom, insight, or encouragement from you taking hold of your mission, and you will. I thought I'd finished writing this script when God said to me, "What about stakeholders?" And I said, "What about stakeholders?" A stakeholder is anyone who has a stake in the success of the business. It could be government officials, suppliers, shareholders, creditors, or society as a whole. God says, "I want to be your stakeholder. I want to give you the tools and support you need to succeed, and I want to be involved in the decision making." God is on your side. If for any reason you feel like you have failed your mission, you have not failed God. God will still receive glory, and God will still work it out for your good. What does Romans 8:28 say? Say it with me. "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose." That's you. Yes, you. In the next step of developing your personal mission statement, answer this. How will you reach your people? What method will you use? Will it be a podcast, a YouTube channel, writing a book, sending a card, volunteering, starting a business, or just going and playing sports or having coffee with them? What pipeline will you use to accomplish what is stirring in your heart? Which leads me to the next question. What is your distinctive competence? What makes you different? In business, we would call this your competitive advantage. This is your story, your personality, your traits, your skills, your idiosyncrasies, and your quirks, or a combination of all of these. God is weaving together your story, experiences, personality, and perspective into a uniquely designed platform for you to reign in your sphere of influence. Why? What do you want the outcome to be? What do you want the people in your sphere of influence to leave with? How will they be changed after an encounter with you or your story? This is how you will make a difference, and you will make a difference. And the last and most difficult part in writing your mission statement is what? What should I do with my life? In order to answer this, I have 3 questions for you. And the first one comes from The Place We Find Ourselves, podcast number 34, Your Kingdom. And the question is this: what do you hate? When we think about what we hate, we find out real quick what we are passionate about. Adam Young says he hates how evil has capitalized on trauma to take people down and torment them. Do you see how specific that is? In my life, someone important dismissed my feelings, and I hate it so much that I have made it part of my mission to tell you that your feelings, your voice, and your mission are important. Which leads me to question number 2. Where have you been hurt? This may be painful to examine, but you are not alone. Jesus is called a man of sorrows, familiar with pain. I imagine that there's somebody else going through what you are going through right now. In my life, I felt guilty for using quarantine time for self-care, and sure enough, one of my friends texted me and said that she was feeling the same way. It inspired me to make the video, Stop Shitting on Yourself. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says that there is no temptation except what is common to all mankind. That means that there is someone else who is going through what you are or have gone through, and they will benefit from your knowledge, experience, skills, and tactics in overcoming that pain. Which leads me to question number 3. How have you been healed? In what ways have you experienced restoration or received redemption? Adam Young says, look at the ways God took the war that evil brought against you and actually used the assault to equip you to rule more effectively in your kingdom. I am saying, when you get healed from the wounds of the enemy, those wounds become your weapon. It could be something big, like emotional or physical healing, or it could be how God provided for you financially, or it could be how God gave you the courage to give a presentation at work or at school, or it could be how God spoke to you through a verse or a song. When we recognize the ways in which we've been healed from our wounds, be it emotional, physical, or spiritual, we can make it part of our mission to provide that place of healing for others. This could be through teaching or through having a a small group in your home. It could be through sharing your story with a friend, or just by being a listening ear who says, yes, I've been there. You're not alone. Those are powerful words. You are powerful, and you will make a difference.